alive. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Up,
another
guys.
episode of The Current. Would we call are these episodes, Lawrence?
I have them titled as episodes. We could probably call them something else in the future, but I like episodes. I like episodes because, especially like when we go like 2 weeks without like really talking to each other, it feels
Yeah.
like another episode.
Yeah.
Like, oh, the gang, yeah, what's been happening?
Yeah, like we literally have not spoken at all since our last. Often we'll have like a few voice notes or something in between us in those 2 weeks, but we have not said peep to each other. You just sent me a hug
Yeah.
emoji like 2 days ago.
Well, because I was just like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was thinking like you came into my field, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna send you a hug real quick.
Mm,
Maybe she knows what.
mm. I feel
I'll
like I
do that.
needed that hug in the field, in the last few days.
Yeah.
I was just saying to Lawrence before we hit record, like when he asked me how I am, I was like, I feel like I've been in another freaking place. And then we decided, well, let's talk about that on the live. Get us going in our conversation today. Yeah, I feel like I needed that hug. I feel it's what I love about like the friendships that you create within this field, with this in that are also in that field of contemplation. Oh, one of my really good friends messaged me last night too, and she was like, "Mate, are you alive? Like, I'm just checking. Are you alive? Because I feel like you might not be alive right now." And it's just that connection that we form in the field of
Yeah.
contemplation, and I definitely feel like, yeah, this morning I feel like I'm kind of landing back in the reality of my life. I feel like I've been in some weird on the cusp of not in my real life, kind of even walking through my day to day in the last week or so, just like, who am I? What am I doing? What do I even want from my life? I don't feel like I want anything. Like I've been in this really interesting place of that to my mind feels like a lack of ambition.
Hmm.
Yet to my heart and my soul, and I've been tuning into it, is something different from that. So like what I was able to kind of pinpoint was that, and I was writing about this in my journal this morning. For years I've been in this process of um detaching my worth from the things that I do, detaching my level of worthiness to things that I can achieve or money that I make or all of the yang based kind of system around where your value comes from, which
Hmm.
is happens in these big sheddings, which over the last 11 years of doing this deep inner work, I've been through many phases of that shedding. But I feel like this year I've really been arriving at this sacred level of self-love and this sacred certainty that I am completely worthy of love, like a sacred certainty. And in that certainty, I feel like I'm in this in between where my worth is no longer attached to the things that I achieve, the things that I do. Yet I haven't had enough time to kind of ground in what the fuck does that look like in terms of my life? Because searching for worth is very good motivation in this life, right? Like you can get a lot of shit done when you are looking to prove your worthiness. You can get a lot of shit done when you're looking to, that hunger of the 35, that when it thinks that it's going to be more if it does more and has more.
Is that
That's
what came up for you? Is that like the what
yeah,
spin
yeah.
feeling?
The piece
Okay.
is like around now that that has almost completely evaporated from my life. That's been evaporating from my life for many, many years. But I feel like I'm at this point where that's almost completely gone, and there's this one little bit in me that's kinda trying to hook on being like, "But who the fuck am I if I'm not?" You know,
Yeah.
where that sacred motivation comes from, which again, the pearl, you've been feeling kind of drawn to that pearl energy, and I very much feel in the beauty of the unfolding of the purity, like pure, pure motivation, pure passion, pure enthusiasm that comes from that higher purpose instead of the bits that we slap on top of that purity that is about self-importance or about some kind of I'll get value from this. When that's all gone, like just discovering th- the next layer of pure enthusiasm.
We are synced because I just spent like the past 4 weeks writing about the 12th gene key
Oh,
in particular,
purity.
and I've been contemplating a lot of the the ring of light. Um,
What's in the ring of light?
5, 11 through the 12th. I was like, now I'm like moving on to the 11th, but
Mhm.
also in a pause and like big integration period, which sounds like you've been in, just
Mm,
like in a period of integration,
mm.
uh, but not one that you're willing to react to anymore, which is super. I mean, it sounds to hear you vocalize it
Mm,
in the way that you did is like really, I mean, I think it's impressive just from my own experience of reacting so much to potential low points or points
mm,
of dissociation or
mhm,
just, I don't
mhm,
know, waves that are moving through the collective
mm,
at the time, whatever reasons or stories I want to attach to like what I'm feeling less than uh optimal or life is
mm,
feeling less than adventurous to put it through that
mhm,
frame.
mm.
Uh but I was thinking about the fifth gene key. I don't know if I can talk about the 12th gene key without like completely derailing us into something because I had a really potent download through that.
Mm,
That I don't know it's like necessarily uh ready to be shared. But I will say one thing after uh in the end. But it's interesting with the seals too. Okay, so like the fifth gene key, I feel like really when you end, do you remember in the Star Pearl, which with the benevolent template, is the fifth gene key in one of them?
Stability.
Stability? Which sphere is that?
The
Is
one
that
at the bottom,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Oh,
stability gene key.
the higher the higher aspect of the SQ, right? Essentially.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The transformation. Okay, that makes
Yes.
sense. Oh,
Mhm,
I've been really feeling, I guess, like that sphere then, because I feel like one of the most, I feel like the fifth gene key is like so much the doorway into the gift frequency,
mhm. It's the feel.
into like into a stable level of the gift frequency, which kind of is like what I'm picking up on, what I've been like contemplating myself,
Mm,
or like when it's seen in my own life is like just like a year previously, a commitment, maybe it starts with the commitment, I don't know, to being patient, and finally seeing the fruits of that this summer and some of the things I've been like building and like working towards
mm,
and work and finances and creative pursuits, they all feel in bloom. And
mm,
I was just laughing the other day because it's like it's such a it's so sticky. Like patience is so sticky once you get into the actual groove of patience to like talk about like the ring of light a bit more.
mm,
Like once you actually get into like the groove, like deep part of patience, it just seems like the obvious answer to everything. But in
mm,
the very beginning, it's like really is so challenging, you know? And, uh, I've always found like the or I have not found, but it's occurred to me at some point that, like, the 5th gene key and the 35 are, like, I don't know. They're like angels that follow alongside the Venus sequence in many ways to me,
Mm,
because you have, like, a ring of miracles, and then you also have the ring of light, and
mm,
it's like the the hunger that you experience is, like, so or, like, our natural hunger is, like, so physical, it's like you're getting down to the physical aspect of, like, our biology to
mm,
continue,
mm.
and I guess it just has its own timing and its own rhythm too, and rhythm
Mhm.
being, like, a huge part of that 5th gene key, so,
Mm,
um,
mm. Hunger going alongside the Venus, like, I've been contemplating that a lot through the lens of IQ, which I'm in at the moment with my group, and this, like, how hungry we are for love, how hungry we are for worth, how hungry we are to have our wounds healed. Yet in the Venus, we come to this really intimate relationship with how we're projecting that hunger into our relationships. And when you're hungry for love or worth and you believe that it comes from the outside in, that's where all of the defense and protection mechanisms of the Venus come from. And so then they become the return, like our hunger for worth gets to be redirected onto the adventure of discovering that you are wholly worthy inside of yourself and that you don't need anything outside of yourself, like, and like, that is the ultimate adventure, but it's such a patient path, we want someone to come into our lives and show us how worthy we are, so then, "Oh, it's done, like, I found what I was looking for," but you never find it because the patient path is the only path that there is, right?
but yeah, it's like patience isn't something you do, it's just, like, something you, like, wake up in one day. That's kinda like what I was thinking, I was like, "Oh, this is what real patience feels like." It's
Mm,
not there's no try in it, you know,
mm.
because then you're just impatiently being patient.
Yes. Yeah, it's like that whole waiting, how people think that to be patient is just to wait, but it's the frequency in which you wait. It's not
Right,
about the time of waiting. You can wait decades for something and wait impatiently.
right, and that's why I think, like I actually wrote about this way back, like, the perils of impatience, but, like, how if you're waiting impatiently, then you're just waiting in scarcity. So it's like you can't
Mm.
really unlock that aspect of the pearl,
Mhm.
or really the Venus sequence because it's like worth,
Mhm.
you know,
Mm,
it's like
mm.
the same desire to feel worthy is the same thing that fuels the impatience in
Yes,
it
yes.
because you want to feel a
Mhm.
certain level of wholeness,
Mhm. Mhm.
abundance,
Yeah.
and it still eludes you even when if you like do it by the book,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're still playing the agenda game most ultimately, so
And the distrust game. Like, ultimately,
yes.
impatience
Yeah,
is
that's
is
it.
about a deep distrust in life itself, in the unfolding of life, in the timing of life, and, like, I love whenever someone has that gene key when I'm working with them. I love how Richard shares this invitation. I can't remember if it's in the book or in the audio, but around migration patterns and
Mhm.
how, like, just the contemplating of the migration patterns of nature and how a flock of, I don't know what migrates, geese or something, a flock of geese aren't in a rush for
Right.
their time of migrate. It's like this deep trust in the fact that that just happens. And for us as humans, there's nothing we can do to control seasons or weather or timing. It's like nature has got it sorted in the deepest
Right.
of ways. And so it's about how you said you just wake up in patience one day. I think it's sort of when we align ourselves with that field of trust and
Mm,
timing of life.
yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's like we learn to be impatient, and sometimes life might our life, like the characters or situations in our life, might tell us that being impatient is like the safest way to be, you know?
Yeah.
And that can be I don't know, really difficult to reprogram. And then you have the
Mhm.
nature of just that. Uh, I see now where we're going. That is, all of life is set up out of rhythm, you know, outside of natural rhythms. So it
Mm.
enforces this like scarcity upon you through the actual structure of time because it's outside of rhythm. It's just scheduled, you know? And it's like
Mm.
rhythm contains pauses, but our world is not set up to pause, which is like why the gene keys are so uh
Mhm.
appear so simple, but are like really radical in like what they ask you to do, you know? And
Yes.
the what was I just gonna say? Oh, and uh yeah, like the ultimate impatience is because we feel like we're gonna die, you know? That there's not enough time.
Mhm.
And I've had the 28 like coming into my vibe like really recently the past few days, like the 28
Mm.
gene key, because I was like writing about it and I was like, what? Or I was
28
looking.
has been
I was,
such a theme for my year.
okay, really?
Yeah.
I'm curious
Sat with the
because
28 deeply this year.
it sounds like that kind of like mirrors what you were kind of experiencing in
Yeah.
your like
Yeah, yeah.
what am I doing with my life? You know, that
Mm.
feeling of purposelessness and
Mm.
uh
Mm.
I think it's interesting in light of the fifth gene key and like the gift of patience and like timelessness because like our stability, well, first of all, like the SQ being a higher uh the SQ sphere itself being a higher aspect or like root from your purpose. I can't
Mhm.
remember when that was talked about, but uh it's like the root of your causal body, right?
Mm. Mhm.
And the your purpose being like a more the sphere of your purpose being more physical. I can't remember when Richard was talking about that, but it's in my awareness, so I'm gonna stick with it. And uh the sense of stability that you get from your purpose, from
Mhm.
that sense of worth, from like
Mm.
healing your heart, and then the stability that comes when you're like living in higher service, you know, in totality with your calling. And
Mm.
like you need patience for your purpose. Like your purpose just emerges in the same time. You just wake up in it one day, you know?
Mm.
It's not necessarily um I was thinking about this, right? It's like your life's work is what you're doing, but your purpose is just like who you are, you know?
Mm.
It's like when you feel disconnected from like who you are,
Mm. Mm. Can you hear
from the
Stephen
totality.
snoring really loudly in the background? Just wanna check.
I can't.
Okay, good. I've said his
Courtney's
name
been
and he's woken
operating
up.
a chop saw out in our
Oh,
backyard, so I don't know if you guys can hear that.
he was laying with his head, like, directly into the carpet and his nose, so he's breathing like I'm like, "Could you please?" He was distracting me. Anyway, he's stumped now. Um, mm, I love and resonate with everything that you're saying, and with that patience, for me, like, what's feeling alive right now is the 35 side of that 5. You know, that how it's only when the hunger Only when we see the hunger for what it truly is, that we can kind of start to arrive more fully in that field of patience, because and sometimes when we think that we're being patient and we're, like, even bringing focus to being in the energy of patience, quite often we're trying to bring patience to where we're caught in hunger anyway, so we're trying to be patient with the unfolding of the thing that we're hungry for. So, like, just a really interesting feeling of, "Oh my gosh."
Wait, can
I'm
you
just
say that
gonna
one?
move Steven for a sec because he is
Oh,
just
he's already up. Hey,
ignoring her.
Steve.
That's Kevin. Steven's over there. Steven, it's ridiculous. Let me just realign you there, mate. There you go. There you go. All right. Steven's like a little nugget in his little bed over there. That's Steven.
Uh,
Oh
they just
my
want to hang out with you.
god. Always, always. Um, yeah, and I think what sparked a lot of this for me is because of the IQ. And in the gift of the IQ, Richard kind of redefines intelligence. And now he's like, Intelligence isn't just about the intellect or cleverness. True intelligence grows when you are grounded in the certainty that you are fully worthy of love." And that sent me down, like, that brought a piece of freshness to what I've been contemplating already in my own life for quite a few months now. I was like, "That's fucking it. That's it." Like, this returning to that certainty, the open-mindedness that happens then in the IQ, where you're not just running, and you mentioned stories before, like the stories we tell ourselves. When you're not just running that story that is attached to some kind of hunger for worth and purpose and all of those things.
Mm.
It's like, "Whoa," and I've got farsightedness in my IQ, and maybe that's what I'm feeling.
Well, it's
This
also a seal, you know?
mm,
So
mm.
it's like
And it's the benevolent template gene key for the IQ 17.
17,
Yeah,
18,
17.
but close. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you mean for the ring of matter. You mean?
For the IQ, like, in the course for the Venus sequence, the IQ is described as, like, gene key 17 is like the gene key for the IQ. Have you seen that?
Is it new?
No.
Are you talking about like the ring of matter?
No,
Like
I'm
for
talking
like the
about, like, the Venus sequence course. It talks about gene key 17 being, like, the gene key of the IQ because it's all about opinions that we form, worldviews, and so then the IQ journey, like, the 17 is the overarching gene key of the IQ.
then what's the EQ?
The EQ is 46, or is that the SQ?
Oh
46?
yeah, no. So like yeah,
46.
like the ring of matter core. So that's the ring of matter mapped onto those spheres. So it's 18.
Well, it doesn't talk about 18 in the actual Venus course. It talks about gene key 17.
We're gonna have to look.
Yeah, it's in there. There's a whole teaching.
Anyways, it doesn't matter because 18 and 17 are programming partners. So
Yeah,
I get what you're
yeah,
thinking about.
yeah.
But I feel what you're saying. Like do the 18.
Mm.
Um, and that is a special place to have that 17 gene key in your IQ.
Mm.
Um,
When we are certain of our worth, suddenly there is a lot more pause in our life, like you're
right.
saying about the rhythm.
Right. Well, also like if you think say like do that whether it's I'm pretty sure it's 18, but either way, the connection to the 18th is like something that always appears to me. It's like because the 18th shadow is judgment,
Mhm.
that is like always such a like really like it's like such a dense part in the matrix because it's like judgment is also part of the core wound,
Mm.
like in the fourth core wound. So it's like you kind of get like a sandwich in
Mm.
uh that part.
And I mean, who
Yeah, I've just
feels
noticed
more
that.
judged than a teenager, right? It feels more
Or
like feeling like everybody is judging me and then but then also being caught up in that judgment of everything because what we're really trying to judge in that time is we're trying to judge our level of worth, where it comes from and understand it so that I can figure it out, so I can be okay, so that I can, you know.
and the yeah, like one of my spiritual practices over the winter was going to the gym, the Parks and Rec Center here in Denver,
Mhm.
but the one like right downtown by the high school, because all the high schoolers would be in there,
Mhm.
and I go there to dance, and I'm just like on the basketball courts, but they're always just hanging out there in between periods or like skipping class or whatever,
Yeah.
and so I just like it's like exposure therapy for me from just dancing in front of like I can feel the judgment and
Mm.
the eyes and the vibes on me, and I
Yeah.
just have to like
Mm.
you know
Yeah, learn how to
I get
navigate
to
that in a fresh way.
right and understand it's like these are just mirrors of myself, mirrors of my own judgment on me because that's the only thing. But it's a very powerful practice because when I first
Mm.
got there, it's like I wouldn't because you can't hide in movement, and especially like for me, like I spend so much of my time dancing. I know when I'm like not dancing
Mm.
naturally.
Mhm.
So like feeling that like thaw over
Yeah.
months was like
Yeah.
an interesting experience
Children are
to
such
see.
a brilliant portal into our own inner child healing, right? And that's where most people, like when they become parents and they have that experience of moving through those 3 7-year cycles with their own child, so much healing comes through that. But then for those of us who don't have children or don't have children yet, it's like these beautiful opportunities. Like my years as a primary school teacher, getting to be immersed with, like, 10 and 11-year-olds all day, every day for
I
years,
was
like,
so I didn't know
su
that, and then you told me that when I was talking about like speaking on here, and I you said that, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
that I was a primary school teacher.
Yeah. Because you'd be a freaking riot, you know? I can just see it. So like I can see the kids loving you so much.
Oh my god. We just had so much fun, but then just if I didn't end up taking this path, um, and if my body didn't have its limitations in the way that it does, I loved teaching, like the oh, the opportunity that you get to connect with the truth of a child and the opportunity that you get to help them to see things in different ways and just to fucking love them is just so many. I have so many very potent experiences from my time as a teacher that have greatly
Mm.
informed my Gene Keys journey and have helped me to make sense. Like I'll come up with there'll be a certain gene key that I'm looking at or a sphere, and there'll be something from that time that helped me to understand that. I don't know, it's just a very, very rich season of my life being a teacher.
Mm.
Mm.
They're the best mirrors.
They are, they are, and, like, in this season of my life,
Because of
living with
their
my little kitties.
yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna say because of their purity.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it's like to me I notice if you are somewhat aware, you will be hyper vigilant of the projections
Mm.
you automatically carry into a field with the child.
Yes.
And just through experiences like my friends' children who I love dearly, and uh, like things will just like come into my mind, like through that plane of my being, and it's just
Mhm.
patterns, programming,
Mhm. Mhm.
and uh, just really watching, like, oh, it's like those are things I've just like carried with me, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
through
Mhm.
the years.
And you really notice
Uh,
in them, especially, like, the young boys in school that just aren't built for that system. The boys that are, more like Bevan or more like you that are like, these passionate beings that don't wanna sit still on the fucking mat for 6 hours a day, like, and you get to see how much of an impact, like, just how much of an impact the schooling experience and stuff has on these kids in the way you see them, around between 8 to 12 years old, right? Like that real EQ time. You can see how they're forming this identity around who people have told them they are. You're naughty. You're this. You're stupid. We don't want you here. Like they take on all of these things like a sponge, but also at that time, it doesn't take much to help them to start to see a different way. Like,
right.
yes, they can take on these really horrible viewpoints about themselves, but there is this beautiful thing about that time in their life that they're also so malleable to help them to take on a different point of view, though, as well.
Yeah.
Whereas we can be so stuck in when you've carried it for that whole time and you've locked in during your IQ years, we can be very rigid in not even being willing to consider that there is another way to see ourselves, you know?
Mm.
Good
Yeah,
old
and so much early programming I find is like through that aspect of rhythm, like what you were saying, like it disrupts our natural rhythm when we're like 11 years old and should be like running around and
Well, who were
outside.
you kinda told that you were, or when you gaze back onto either EQ or IQ times, what were some of the things that just from your field or from your schooling experience or from your home experience, were you starting to
Mm.
form like, "Okay, this is who I am," or "This is how I'm worthy"? Like, what were some of those pieces for you?
EQ EQ years is more about like um oh man, we're all right, we're going in. EQ was more about like body image for me
Mhm,
because I was a bit chunkier during like my middle school years. And also it was like in my family system, like my mom was really struggling through those years and my dad was working a lot and my brother and sister had anxiety
mhm,
and I was like confused about how to like just in hindsight in retrospect, just like confusion of like how to feel all those things, be around them. Like I wasn't like independent enough. I spent a lot of time like outside my house,
mhm,
uh, with friends and the neighborhood and stuff. But like I didn't really, I was between those ages that wasn't independent, you know? Couldn't just like get distance. So kind of like imposed like to look a certain way
mhm,
and I had to feel uh like a on the one hand and like the polarity of like being at school and like uh have to look a certain way to be normal and then also going home to my family. It's like if I want to be part of my family, I have to feel kind of like shit. It's
mm,
like reconciling those two things
mhm,
is like a big part of my holding.
mm.
And uh or like repression, you know. So it's
Mm.
just like holding a lot in. But that drove my creativity in some aspects, like the poetry and writing, like reading. And when I got to like IQ, the biggest pattern was I guess like seeing through those like worth wounds and through ideas I had about mental illness um and like work because I like began working a lot at that age. So I also began drinking a lot. So
Mm.
I substituted the repression for drinking. That was just like my way of repressing, but then I'm like also working a lot. Um, which the main pattern or main program was like, okay, I have to suffer in order to make
Mm.
money, you know.
Mm.
I have to spend my time uh to get a dollar. But on the flip side of that, my reaction to realizing that also was like the past like 15-ish years of my life, so to be. And
Mm.
now most of my work the past like 3 or 4 years, I guess, like do the gene keys has been like unwiring that
Mm.
ultimately. Being like a reaction to not being free keeps
Mm.
me more not free.
Hello, 55 lives work.
Mhm. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. How about you?
Mm. Yeah, my like imprinting years around worth and things were very much, and I've been talking about this with my devoted ladies as we're like deep in the Venus at the moment. How the hurtful things that were said to us in our kind of EQ, SQ, IQ times obviously create these impacts, but also the positive, like the compliments that we were fed at this time of our life, can very much form a shadow sense of worth, though, as well. And I feel like for me, it was more about that side of things as a child,
Mhm.
where I received a lot of praise for the way I looked as a little kid. Like, my mum used to put me in, like, beauty pageants and shit, and, like, in my room, I had my little sash, like, I won Little Aussie Bright Eyes when I was a kid, and, like, there was all these things around this positive reinforcement that that was the best thing about me as a kid. And, like, a lot of that side of things, plus then, like, my energy, and I was always just super bubbly and excitable and all of these things that are, like, vitality is my core wound and vocation, so, like, these form really big aspects of purpose for me as well, but the way in which my childhood experience was formed around, uh a deep worth coming from these places. And the catalyst of my entire inward journey was when all of those things fell apart in my life through chronic illness. That was my big, just sort of like what you're saying, these wounds become the reason why we go in. you know,
Mhm.
like it was when all of that started falling away from around me that I even began to realize, holy shit, I thought that I knew who I was. I thought that I had really incredible self-worth and self-love. No, it was just I'd built my whole identity around what other people said was good about me. And there was no real roots inside of myself of being connected to who I really am versus
Mhm.
being I felt very much as a child that I was molded to be someone that someone would want. Whether that be being wanted for, um, like, more professional reasons in terms of, like, as in primary school, I was the school captain, I was the sports captain, I was like
You?
yeah. Me, me. I like, all those things, so wanting, I want people to vote for me and all that, and, like, kind of being pushed towards those sorts of things, and then, like, wanting to be wanted by men, because my dad was so not present, and so then that, okay, this is where your worth comes from, and then like, extremely groomed through my household that was the goal, to
Yeah.
have a man of importance to want you. And that was going to be my journey in life, like, and even though I was very bright intelligence-wise, no one ever told me to pursue that, because it was like, "That doesn't matter, Haley, because 'cause you'll marry someone rich and you'll not have to work." Like, that was the culture I was sort of raised in.
Yeah.
Um, and so when
Yeah, I
I
was groomed to be one of those dudes, basically.
Mm. Right?
But
It's
every
like the age-old story of the yin and the yang, like, um, but then I didn't want to, like, I never connected with being a girl as a young I was very tomboyish because I think I was rebelling against that. I think that without realizing it, I was rebelling against my feminine nature, being like, I wanna be powerful like the guys. Like, because I felt very powerful and I got a lot of line 5 energy, and so I was in this very, uh, searching for something but not really feeling grounded in who I was, and so, like, when I first started doing, like, the inner work in my mid-20s, when I had, like, my big kinda dark night of the soul moment and started taking me inward, one of the first journaling questions that I asked myself was just, "Haley, what do you like?
Mhm.
What do you like?" Because I realized that my upbringing, I thought I knew what I liked, but I just liked the things that I thought that I should like so that other people would like me.
Mhm.
And so a
Yeah,
big part
for
of
sure.
my journey has even been just reclaiming, reconnecting, discovering who I am. Like, my SQ is psychosis. And so, like, being raised in this world of psychosis that told me, it formed a box around me of, "This is who you are, and this is what life's about." And my journey has been about obliterating that box to discover, um, to touch upon who I actually fucking am, you know?
Yeah.
And
How old were
my
you
child
when
self,
you had your Dark Knight,
well,
your first big opening?
my first big opening was when my dad died. I was 21. And that was my first moment of even just that was my first moment of questioning life, because I never
Mhm.
really had. I just sort of plodded along and life was quite easy in a way, and it wasn't until dad suddenly died that I, for the first time, very, very jinky 61, for the first time asked the question, like, "What does happen after you die?" Like, because
Mhm.
my dad was a very strong atheist, like, very, very outspoken atheist, and I always just subscribed to
Mm.
that belief system myself. And so when he died, it was like,
Did
surely
he,
death.
uh did he talk about it towards the end?
Well,
Like, did he
he died, boom, unexpected heart attack. So he'd never had an ending. Like, he had a heart attack and he went onto life support, and then he never woke up, and so he never
Oof.
had an end of life moment for him to even consider any of that stuff. And so, and he had very, very the amount he would drill it into us as kids that you die, you get put in the ground, and that's it. Like, and so that was my first kind of, I feel like that's when the lid of the box came off, right? And I was
Mm.
like, started looking around for the first time, but then it was when I hit 25 and then my health rapidly declined, that then that became "and who the fuck am I?" You know?
Mm. Yeah.
It just shows how potent those first 3 7-year cycles are in the tone that is set for what we're destined to unpack and unravel and understand. And,
Mhm.
like, you're talking about purpose. before, and like my purpose is understanding, and that's really the tone of my Venus sequence has been understanding, and then the forgiveness of this world that we live in that creates an adult like I was. It's like just seeing the point in that whole thing, that it was the deconstructing of it where the beauty comes from, you know?
Hmm. Mm.
Mm.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for thanking me. One of my friends used to say that to me. I always gotta laugh. Um, wow, man.
Mm.
I
And so
think that question. Sorry, I
no, you
just
go, you go.
no way you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say that that kind of full circles back around to what I said at the start of how now that the worth is solid in me, it's like this entire way I lived my life.
Right. I think yeah, that's what I was gonna say is that question, like that it's that single question over and over again. It's like, who am I? What do I like? What is natural to me?
Mm,
What feels good? Like, how do I love? How do I define love? How do I define prosperity? Like all those questions, are the awakening, and we have to awaken more than once, you know?
absolutely.
So it's like every time we go through that process of integration, we experience like an archetypal fractal moment from like
Mm,
that's been following us throughout time, it's its own rhythm
mm,
and that we sync up with every time we
mm.
shed a old self-image,
I love that.
and even sorry, go for it.
I was just gonna say I've got a beautiful dear client with the 20 in her evolution, and a question that she has, like, really brought into her life is, "Who am I now?" Like, that's a very Gene Key 20 question that helps ground us into the process of not, "Who am I?" but, "Who am I now? And who am I
Hmm.
now? And who am I now?" Like, holding space for the rhythm to shift
Hmm.
as we get
Hmm.
below the layers.
Yeah, and ultimately, like that is to bring it back to where you started this. Like, ultimately, that is to me the process of discrimination. Like, that's why that 12 gene key is the final trial, then the Ring of Trials, and also
Mhm.
the Ring of Secrets. It's like you hit a certain state of absorption along your way that you find yourself in pursuit of just like more subtle and subtle frequencies
Yeah.
that like you're tuning to
Mm.
in your life, and like things start to just kind of they drift off, but they're like still there, it's like you those old versions of yourself, they drift off, but
Mm.
they're still like floating around.
Mm.
Like one of my favorite teachers and also one of my favorite quotes from like Ram Dass is like after a while your neuroses are just like old friends or just come over for tea.
Yeah.
Like 50% of this is just showbiz. So like
I love that.
that that's like it's like, yeah, who am I now? Who
Yeah.
am I now? Like,
Yeah.
do I need to be one of those? And
Yeah.
uh to that point, between the 12 and 35, I find those connected. I feel like that's a great big secret in the gene keys. Because it's like the Ring of Secrets. You have the Ring of Secrets, the what am I trying to say? Ring of
Mirror?
Origin,
Oh, origin.
and then the Ring of Miracles.
Miracles.
Create a trinity of gene keys that are also rings codons,
Mhm.
ultimately. And they're the only ones in the matrix like that. So part of
Mm.
like what I find the 12th and The 35 connect is due to delta, which I haven't, like, I'm talking about this as an uninitiated delta traveler, just through my own contemplations. But because the 12th gene key in the delta is the first that corresponds to the physical body. And I find that there's just like an echo or something between the 35 and that hunger because it is so like it's physical and it's pure, you know? It's like hunger is just like the raw force of
Yeah.
evolution, you
Evolution.
know, in us. It's like, and it's inseparable from our physical bodies
Mm.
as long as we, well, as long as we train them to live on food. But ultimately, like part of that state of absorption, you know, is like that process of uh discrimination towards like subtler, more refined frequencies, whether it's food, whether it's people, whether it's uh, careers, whether it's your creative pursuits, you know, that you find yourself like searching for a
Mm.
more pristine aspect of the romance is more light. It's like your body's learning to subsist on more light, and more light is
Mm.
entering more rarefied light is like um, entering through your DNA. So,
Mm.
which is a miracle, you know. Like
Mm.
every time you awaken, every time you hit that, you go through that fractal pattern, you hit that same point. That was also the same dark night that you just left. That's a miracle,
Mm.
or you get to at least witness a miracle.
I love that. And I love how then in the pulse, how the 15 follows the 12 and how that last trial
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of it is the return to the beauty of the everyday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kind of like that return to the village part of like the phases of awakening. And it's like the
From the 12 to
home.
the 15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
like the 12's like that purity of kind of returning to source, like final trial, like the whoa. And then it can feel like that was the point almost, but then it's like, and the 15's like, and it belongs in the mundane. This is so that you can see the beauty in the everydayness of life. Like,
So we just left the 12,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, we just left the 12th and
What?
went into the 15 like 3 days ago, 4, 3.5 days.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how or why the pulse is arranged like it is?
Well, I mean, I'm how it's arranged through the sun.
Like how the sequences do the pulse like around the wheel. It's one of the
Well,
most mystical aspects,
oh,
I think.
well,
Dude, I'm a,
for me, I just think of it as the conscious sun, where the conscious sun is moving. But please tell me more.
well, no one knows. Like that's from Ra. He just said like that's what it was delivered. So that's carried over from like human design is like the way the actual gene keys are arranged in the wheel.
Hmm.
Because it looks like there'd be a pattern. It looks almost like it'd be a cone ring, but there's all these weird placements where it's just not. And when asked about it, Ra was just like, it's just something the voice told him. So
Um,
there are,
do
I
you ever
mean,
do
it's a,
your yearly profile, like on your birthday for the year, and seeing how your Venus and your Pearl changes? Have you ever done that?
no,
No, Tam Mayo told me to do it. Um, because it like your profile shifts each year, which she's talking about like how then like your transits for this year then are held
right.
in like your Venus and your Pearl um to yeah, and how even your life's work can change based on like the transits of that kind of stuff, or your line can change. But yeah, your Venus and your Pearl changes, and like she was talking about how like that showing the transits of that year and how that can bring richness to your birth year profile. So I for some reason that just popped into my mind. I just wanted to know if you did that.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm.
Also, I'm like a profile heretic, so we make good.
Well, I mean, I did it on my birthday, and I was like, the
What was
the 3 gene keys that I had been like, "Whoa, why do these feel so potent for me this year?" Were fucking
interesting?
28, line 4 was my attraction.
No way.
19, which pelicans have been following me fucking everywhere all year. 19 is my core wound this year.
Mm,
And then 53 is my pearl and my culture, and, like, oh, and 42 is my, EQ, like, these keys that I've been so drawn to and had been for the first 5 months of the year, and then boom, I'm like, they're in my fucking transit chart for the year. It's just crazy.
transit chair. I love that.
Yeah.
I think
Fuck.
that is like another echo of like what your friend was saying. It's like, who am I now? You know?
Yes.
And it's like we
Yes.
like it's a good idea to shake it up. And I think, you know, you lose some of the mystery of like who you are if you keep putting it back and saying the same seed, you
Yes.
know? It's
Yes.
like there's like it flows this way. Like you can flow that way, but you can also do it
Mhm.
the other way. You know,
And
it's like, oh, that's just
yeah.
the starting point or standpoint.
And yeah, I think that when you've got that starting point of your golden path, like really grounded in, and I think which is so important. I think it's so important that we ground in like a body sense of knowing with our golden path that is our gene key profile. Because sometimes like I've definitely, I just speak to so many people in the DMs about gene keys and stuff, and people send me their profiles all the time. Like, I fucking love it. But something that I do notice a lot is when people jump around too much before they've really grounded in their golden
Mm,
path. There's just a certain depth and richness of the gene keys that just hasn't. I guess it's probably that patience that we started with that really needs to ground in. Like, I think playing with a transit chart is fucking epic when your golden path is relatively grounded in, because you can now actually you've got the language and the understanding of something to do something with it, instead of it all just being more information and more information and more distraction, more superficiality when we like, so the joy of playing with something, but playing with it in the depths, playing with it in like this, like from
mm.
living it, and fucking pelicans will not leave me alone, Lawrence. They just won't leave me. And even, like, the amount of times I'm just
What
driving
is
down
what is
19.
the yeah, pelican.
It's
But isn't it
sacrifice.
pelican like isn't there like five birds in the dream arc
Yes.
that it's a
The p
part of?
the pelican is saying, "You need to take this journey of these 5 birds." The pelican doesn't even have its own guidance per se. The pelican is like, "You've gotta take this most intense fucking journey through all of these birds, and then you might be able to understand me." And then the fact that I've got 19 as my vocation this year, and I've felt very much on this. But honestly, I'll be driving my car, just focusing on
I
the
was
road and
born on the 19th, so 19's like a very like I really it's just it's a powerful number for me. I always like have like a deep relation to that gene key and
It's
it
never been really in
is
my field until the last
we're here.
6 months.
Well, me and the Pelican fam are here.
Just pelicans. I'm like, "Okay, when am I gonna
I
finally," like, I looked it up quite a few months ago in the dream arc and read the guidance, and I was like, "Fuck." I was a bit disappointed with guidance, because I was like, "Oh, I didn't really want that," but that's the point of the pelican, it's sacrifice. But then
right.
the fact it just won't leave me alone. I'll be walking down to the beach, and then it's like my intuition speaks, and I just look up, fucking pelican. I'm driving down the road, and then I'm like, for some reason, I look in the air, and right at that moment, pelican. And usually they're in flocks. Usually there'll be like 9 or 10 of them, or at least 3 or 4 of them, and then on the weekend, I was sitting on the couch in my lounge room with both the kids on my lap and watching Toy Story, and I'm fully into the movie, and I'm, like, loving it, and then just suddenly in me, it was like, "Look out the window," and I look out the window, and just in the gap of where I could see outside, a singular pelican was just going in circles, and it just stayed there in circles, and I just watched it for, like, 3 or 4 minutes, and then off it went, and I'm like, "These
Mm,
pelicans are not leaving me alone."
mm,
So, like, I just love that about the dream arc, how it gives us this. But yeah,
for
then the
sure.
fact that it was in my transit profile and the fact that it was already starting to speak to me, I'm like, yeah,
Right.
I've been
Yeah, no,
resisting
I
Peloton.
feel I definitely believe what you say, or like agree with what you're saying about adding more complexity or intricacy before grounding. I was more just speaking about like treating the profile as like a starting place for like who you are rather
Mm.
than this very 55 thing of me to say. That's the irony is that I'm just classic classic my profile, but I always tell people is like I just like my approach is just to hold it a bit more loosely and use the like more important than the gene keys in your profile I find are like the sequences that you travel in. Like you can have like the core of every gene key holds the same truth. So
Yeah. Yes. That's where I feel like the
marrying,
pathways is like,
mm-hmm,
and maybe like what, I don't know if this is kind of what you're saying, but like what my soul picks up on is I think the importance of doing the golden path isn't necessarily for your gene keys that you have on the golden path. I think the importance of doing the golden path is actually the spheres and the pathways. Like, take our gene keys out of the profile
mm-hmm,
and just that immersing in the journey of those pathways and the keys that help us to like see what life's about.
mm-hmm.
You know, and you
Yeah.
could put any key. You can put any fucking key in that sphere. It doesn't fucking matter. And Richard himself says that. Like,
Mm,
I think for me, it's really about the physical path, like the pathways.
right. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't want to say whatever gene keys you have it don't matter, but they don't. And then
Yeah. I am
but
exactly the same. I'm
but
like,
at this
they
but
do,
like I
but
just
they don't.
think at one point in your journey they matter extremely because they
Yes.
like I like if I look back at my own
An anchor point.
journey through my golden path, like those themes are like the
Yeah.
most like poignant and spot on that like I've had
Mhm.
to undergo in my contemplation. But
Mhm.
it's like it's just structure, you know? It's just like
Yes.
knowing it,
Yeah.
it's like using the discernment to know when there's a point where you like need less structure in the thing, you know?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because ultimately your awakening is like a wild,
Mm.
spontaneous event.
Mm. Mm.
So
Mm.
to it just becomes more elemental at that point. It's not that like it's not resonant. It's just
Mhm.
like the journey is asking for a bit more surprise or a bit more flexibility, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so you can have that aspect of longevity, you know, because then you don't get tired of going to the same thing over and over again because you can weave your way in and out when it feels the most appropriate.
Amen.
Also, if you want, while we're on stream, we can pull up my transit chart for the
Yes, please do.
because
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very curious. I don't know how to do it on Zoom, but let me minimize this.
So you go, you just for birthplace, you put your current place where you live now. Mm.
Ah, oh,
And then you keep the same birth time.
see.
Hmm. While you're doing that, there was this one little quote that I wrote down from one of the beautiful ladies in my community from a call we had yesterday, which I just thought that you'd
Mhm.
love. And you mentioned the Ram Dass, the cup of tea thing. And I was like, "Oh, you'll love this." I posed a question around, like, how have the Gene Keys had a profound impact on the mundane, ordinary nature of your life? Like, from taking this deep journey, where is it showing up just in the simplest, most mundane of ways? And she said, "It's put me back sitting outside with a cup of tea."
Mhm.
And I just fucking love that. I'm like, if that's not the whole point.
We were
Mhm.
just, uh, yeah, we were just out. We go up every few weeks to get water for the
Mm.
spring, and on our way back down, we like stop and hang out by the river, and it was just like it was like on the solstice. It was just like so peak, like with the mountains and the sun there. We were just hung out by the river for hours, and
Wow.
I was just like, yeah, what else is there?
What else is
I
there?
actually I wrote a poem about it too. I think. I mean, I didn't realize it did it in the moment, but in retrospect, I
Mm.
was like, oh, that's what that was about. It was just talking about uh wait, I put my original birthday in here. That's not true. I was born this year. 2026. Oh wait, no. Everyone's getting oh, oh,
What is it? Tell me.
uh, uh. How do I my core wound is literally patient. It's the fifth jinky.
Oh. With what line?
Four.
Oh, the rejection.
How do
Mm.
I
If you ask to share your screen, it will send me a thing and then I'll be able to approve you.
okay, it's like that. How do I oh the Gene Keys website is like so dialed. It always impresses me. It's amazing.
Boys, hey, I'll make you a host. Hey, stop. Stop. Okay, you should be able to share screen now.
Look at that.
5.4,
Look
43,
at now
49.
now I'm the dancer.
I love that. A line change in your activation sequence.
Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
I F with that
60,
so hard.
63, 49, 43.
Literally all these have changed. Like
Mm.
my entire Venus sequence is just
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, my whole Venus sequence and
And
my pearl all changed. Yeah. Oh,
that's
we've got the
wild.
same pearl this year. I'm a 53 pearl this year as well. I feel like that's very special.
I think so.
um,
Wow. I really like uh, this is illuminating. Probably have to spend some time on this, but it
yeah. It's like I got this weird confirmation when I looked at mine, like just oh, so all of these themes that I felt drawn to.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
And then I've been looking at mine as like an aspect of my chart. So like, like I was looking at the 19 that I've got as my vocation for the year or my core for the year. I've been looking at as like the 19 as an aspect of my 58. So if my 58 is like this overarching theme of my life, and then at this point in time, the 19 is wanting to partner with that. Like,
Right.
what does that partnership bring about, or what does it invite me to be with through the lens of that? And I've just found that to be a very, very rich contemplation.
No, for sure. I think that because it's like I still think the best analogy for like the spheres in the profile is like the sphere is a classroom and the gene key is a teacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like if you
Mhm,
think about like your birth profile, those are like the master teachers for your life, right? But
mhm.
then, you go through school and you have plenty of teachers,
Yeah,
that like so it's like
yeah, I love that.
that's who you're vibing with this
Yeah.
here. This all
Mhm.
slaps pretty spot on. So, um,
Fun times. I love that analogy from Elijah that when you have a gene key multiple times in your profile, it's like having the same teacher for different subjects.
yeah.
Like, it's such
Oh,
a
that's
great
good.
way to
Yeah.
describe it, you know? It's like, "Oh, there's Mr. Smith again. Got him for science and English," and it's like you get that flavor through the different classrooms.
Mhm.
I don't have any repeating keys, but in my transit chart, I've got the 53 twice. Or well, when I look at my with my star pearl, I've got 58 twice in my birth profile. But yeah, some
53
people
is
have. Um, I work with
what
some
were you
people,
saying?
they've got I've had a lot of clients that have got, like, triple gene keys. Like, they'll have, like, the same gene key as the biggest, like, the most spicy one that I see is when people have got the same key for their evolution and their core. Like, that is a
My
curriculum.
my heart just went in my stomach.
Talk about things we wouldn't want in our profiles, that being one of them.
Uh-oh. Uh,
Uh.
uh, you might want to bookmark that.
I definitely
I'm
think
definitely
we
down
we
to.
should we should do our next one on, you know, that
That'd be great.
keys or combinations that were like, "Damn, that is whew." Mm,
Some heat.
yeah.
Um, how do I how do
If you click
I
stop share at the
unshare?
bottom of your Zoom, there'll be the button that says stop share or end
Oh,
share.
I see.
Yeah.
Lawrence technology.
So good.
Didn't have teacher though.
Well, I love the direction
Um,
that this conversation went today. Like,
yeah. So how do you like um sorry, I just wanted to ask
yeah.
actually please continue.
No,
I'll
I
say
had nothing to say. Please ask a
I
question.
don't believe that. You always got something delicious. I was just saying like how does that experience of like okay, um like being out and like not sure, feeling a little lost, essentially. Uh
Well, it is my life's work. Like, dislocation is my life's work.
right.
And so every time I find myself back here, bouncing between the dislocation and the entropy, because these seasons always come with a sense of entropy for me. They come with a sense
Mm.
of just like I just feel so heavy, slow.
Hmm.
And I notice my want to distract myself from that. I notice my want to do anything or be anywhere but here. Like I've become very intimately aware of that feeling. And so now when I find myself in these places, it's so weird because of course there's still the sense that I don't like this feeling. Like you're never gonna like, I'm never gonna like feeling entropic and lost, but and like Richard says, you don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it, and I feel like I'm at this point where I've been here so many times and extracted so much beautiful understanding about it that now when I'm in it, I'm just in it. And
Yeah.
even though there is that sense of not wanting to be here, there is also a deeper sense that I won't be here forever. And there's
Right.
this trust that I've built with life that it's going to gift me freshness from here. And that if I just let it and I just let go, and this has been like the battle that the arms have been laid down now. Like I used to have my fucking sword, I had a machine gun, like boom, 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 like I'd be in battle with this, like, all right, I'm going to war. Like would battle with this feeling because I need to do stuff to be worthy. And that's what fueled the resistance and the battle. But now that I just don't subscribe to that anymore, I don't have to fight against anything here.
Right.
And just be here. And and while I'm here, I do my best to um let Gaia just love me. I do my best to, even though the last thing I feel like doing when I'm feeling like this is, going for a walk or going for a swim or going to the beach, or there's something deeper in me that's like just let myself do that. Not make myself, cuz just let myself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And each time I end up back here, it never ceases to kind of fascinate me in the way that, ah, so I'm even more okay here now.
Hmm.
And
That's tea.
yeah. I'm It's weird because like very far in the background, almost like it's a distant voice that used to be right here in my ear. It's so far away now that I can barely hear it. And it's like, Haley, you'll never amount to anything. Like, but it's so distant now that
I know exactly what you mean. I
instead
like
it
saying
used to be like,
spit.
"Oh, no, you piece of shit," like it was like an army general in my ear telling me that I'm just a worm, Like, where it's just, like, kinda running off in the distance, and I'm like, "Look, like, I can feel a real subtle sense of that fear, but then there's just something in me that's like, I don't need to care about that,"
Right.
you know?
Is you're like moving at the speed, close to the speed of like light and
Yeah.
being, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like that fear is running so fast. Maybe it's ahead of me. It's running so fast ahead, not in the rhythm of life, that, like, I didn't have to run away from that voice. I've just slowed down back to my true pace that it's so far ahead that I can hardly hear it anymore,
Right.
and there's such a sense of safety in this rhythm that life has invited me into where, honestly, entire thought forms that have ruled my life around ambition and where I'm headed and blah, 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 blah,
Mm.
have just like evaporated from space and time. And I'm just like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, they're boundaries, you know? So I feel you tapping into that boundlessness.
Mm.
It's like
I'm
only
s-
when that
mm,
like the idea that puts up walls alongside of us. So
yeah. I think ultimately I've let go of the lie that it's about me. Like
tea.
I think for a very long time, I've been releasing a sense of self importance that,
Mhm.
going back to like those childhood years, that was kind of, I was raised to think that I was special, and I think that it's n there's a part of our purpose that, of course, like, we play such a vital role, but I think that my awareness is shifting from self-importance to collective importance, And that's
Mm.
radically changing the rhythm and the pace at which I'm living.
Wow.
Mm. So I used to be a selfish bitch.
I love that.
Mm.
I feel much the same in my own journey. I'm glad you're feeling that.
Mm. It's kind of throwing me around a little bit in the
It
best of
does.
ways.
Yeah. I
It's
think uh, I really relate to what you're saying about like how far away that voice is, you know? I
Mhm.
think, yeah, so much so that like when it comes back, it sounds a lot louder than it actually is
Yeah, yeah,
whenever I hear it.
yeah.
And, uh, hmm, yeah,
Mm, mm, mm. Feels like a beautiful ending that feels like a beginning of deep contemplation inside of both of us. I can feel it. I had
this will
someone DM
eventually,
me this morning. Someone DM me and um, they said, Haley, how can I start living my life instead of thinking it in my head? And that's like the when the sound is right here, the noise it's and I'm like, well, that's the entire journey, isn't it?
mm,
How very human.
mm,
Like we're raised to live our lives in our heads, and then when you're called to this journey, it's the journey of getting back down into the heart, and there's no quick fix of that. It can only be a patient path.
yeah. I think it's like that. That's like the first rung on the ladder is like realizing, you're not, no one's special, but everyone's unique, you know?
Yeah.
Then it's like, or it's like you're not different, but you are special, whichever way you want to go about it.
Mm, mhm. It's like it's more about what we've made that all mean about worth. Worth is deeply connected to wanting to feel special, and yeah, there's just so much to just gently disentangle from, like being caught
Mhm.
in a net and
Yeah,
just, you know.
that's really what I hear what you're saying. It's like you really like mastered this art of gentleness with yourself. So,
Yeah, I think that that's been one of my biggest rewards, and I think that's a line for core wound, learning to be gentle with myself
mm,
can be the hardest thing to do, but I think one of the things that reaps the biggest harvest in just
mm,
the quality of life, you know? A lot of when we don't have a very good quality of life, like, a lot of that is in the way that we treat ourselves. Mm.
yeah. I was thinking about that today. I was just like, oh, like so many people like have a lot of money or a lot of stuff going on, but it's like, do they have any peace? I don't know, you
Mm.
know, and just feeling all these things that like dispel the illusion,
Mhm.
and just make it so irrelevant to like anything. It's like I don't know about any of that stuff. I'm just here.
Mhm.
And mm,
Totally.
I guess that, yeah, I mean, we could go on forever.
Yeah. I've got a Gene Key session that I'm gonna sit and prep for now with the guy that I said reminded me of you that's in my membership. And I've never got to meet him, like, on Zoom before, and he booked a session, and I was like, "Ah, how cool that I get to do this with you now," and, like, he really has a spirit that reminds me of you, and, we're doing Gene Key 15, which, like, even again, I was like, "Ah, it just feels such a there's such an energetic crossover there," and so, yeah, that's what I am gonna be sitting with for the next couple of hours as I prepare myself to dive into the deep end of 15 with him this afternoon.
Mm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
This was a wild one.
Mm.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. It's like with that, like you were talking in the very beginning about like purity and like what you were picking up on this like precedent, you know,
Mhm.
like I think you were saying like find yourself like just uncovering deeper layers of like more pure and pure
Mhm.
essence of like what it is like, whether it's your purpose or uh your service in the world. To me, what came through for me or what I've been contemplating when we were in the 12th really strongly is this idea of, or this like framework of romantic clarity
Mhm.
and how like life is like kind of always, if we treat our life as like romance, like life is always revolving us through those doors to get uh clear on like what we're doing at that time. And I think that's kind of like what the transit chart also is like
Mm.
kind of sheds light on is like this is what your love story is about in some way right now, you know? And,
Mm.
uh changes, like just changes. So I salute you in the liminal space. I literally had the experience when I was bartending the other day. That was really unique for me because I have like a lot
Mm.
of trauma around bartending. Okay, I won't go so deep because I know we gotta go, but I was
Mm.
just like, I could literally witness that part of myself where it was like, oh, there's like this Lawrence that has like all these feelings about bartending and people coming in or whatever. And then there was just like this moment, it's like, it's so much energy to be that person right now. I'm just gonna be here.
Mhm.
Even
Mhm.
if even if I'm dissociated or lost or disoriented or whatever, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
not let that experience be the experience.
Yeah.
And something definitely loosened in it. I don't exactly know what, but it was
Yeah.
notable.
Absolutely. It's like that feeling of when you realize, "Oh, I don't wanna be here right now," but then there's this other bit in you that's like, "But I'm safe to be here anyway. Like, it's okay."
Yeah,
Instead of then being in resistance to the moment that is, and then all that comes from that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those moments. Like, when
Yeah,
I feel like this, I don't wanna do anything, yet I have
right,
responsibilities. And it's
right.
just about gentling yourself and being like, "What if it was okay that you could be here like this, and that you were just as
Yeah,
worthy being here like this?" You know?
right.
Yeah. Mm. Well, I'll click the end stream button over on YouTube, and then we can say proper goodbye to each other, but thank you, everyone.
Peace,
Peace.
guys. Much love.